Good afternoon and welcome to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. I am your host, Kevin King. He is I and I am him, the 800 Credit Score Man himself. And again, thank each and every one of you for coming in, tuning in to the 800 Credit Score Man Show, no matter how you get it. So don't let the 800 Credit Score Man Show be the best kept secret. I need you to share this show with all of your friends, family, co-workers, frenemies, whoever it is, your frat, your sorority. Share the 800 Credit Score Man Show with them. Let's raise everybody's credit scores in 2017 and beyond. So the 800 Credit Score Man Show is brought to you today, of course, by the same people that we always have, and that's Cute as a Cupcake. If you're new to the show, let me tell you a little bit how it works. When the show comes on, I'm going to present a topic to you guys. We'll discuss that topic. Somewhere in between, in the middle of the show, we'll have a question of the day, a question that comes from you, the listeners. You can contact me at 800 creditscoreman@gmail.com with your questions. And then from question of the day, we'll go and we'll finish out the rest of the show on that particular topic. And there might be a credit score kiss, which is keep it smart and simple. That's homework. That's homework for you. Something for you to do to help you learn more about the credit scoring system and or help you improve your credit score. So again, welcome in to the 800 Credit Score Man Show. Now look, this week we're going to talk about some things that will help you boost your credit score. So we'll talk about several things that will help you boost your credit score. However, before I get to boosting your credit scores in today's show, last week we talked about mortgages, and I talked about how the mortgage application process works. So I want to just go back a little bit. I just have one thing that a question came up during the week about a mortgage and how this thing works. So the question came to me, how long does your mortgage application last? And I actually wasn't sure how long it would last. You know, oftentimes you'll go out, and I recommend this to you. If you're going to buy a home, you go out and you get approved first before you start looking. Go out getting approved, see how much of a home you can purchase, and then start your search. So if you've done that, and then let's say you placed some offers in with someone and your offer wasn't accepted. So then you move on to the next place, or something you placed the offer, it was accepted, but then you did a home inspection and something came back and you decided, I don't want that home. And it prolongs the time between when you put your application in and you're actually closing on your home. So the question came up, how long does the application process or the application itself stay? And so I went to one of my favorite mortgage lenders, my mortgage guy, Barry Johnson. I went to Barry and I asked him that question, and he says 90 days. Typically, it's going to be 90 days, maybe 120 days. And his advice was if it starts to get close to that time frame, make sure you talk to your lender, the person that is doing the mortgage for you. Make sure you talk to them and let them know that you haven't found a home yet, and ask them, how does their process go? How long what will it remain for you? And if you have to reapply, or however that system works for them. So make sure you do that. If you're running out of time when it comes to, maybe 3 months take you to find a home. All right. So I'm glad that we were able to clear that up. All right. So let's move on with the rest of the show. So also, if you're new to the show, I do shout outs. So do shout outs on the show as well. So if you have a birthday, anniversary, what have you, make sure you let me know, and maybe you'll become part of the 800 Credit Score Man Show. And since that's the case, and this is what I'm talking about right now, I want to give a big happy birthday shout out to Pastor Tim Bailey. Tim Bailey is the pastor of Living Purpose Church in Aurora, Illinois. That happens to be my church, y'all. So if you're in the area in Aurora, Illinois, come by Living Purpose Church. Our pastor, Pastor Tim Bailey, celebrated a birthday earlier this week. I won't tell his age, but he's a great man of God. He's a recording artist as well. So you guys look him up, go to YouTube, Google him. Get his album, get his LP, and happy birthday to you, Pastor Tim. All right, so today I said we're going to talk about some things that'll help you boost your credit score. Now, above all and before all, of course, you've got to get your credit report. Get your credit report so you know where you go, what you need to do. So go to annualcreditreport.com, www.annualcreditreport.com to actually get your credit report. You can get it for free there. You can also go to a place like Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, and you can get your credit report free there as well. So go and get your credit report. That would be one of the first things that you have to do so you can learn where do you need to go. So what are we going to do? The first thing you want to do when you get that credit report, you want to make sure that it's accurate. Make sure that everything on there is correct. Make sure that information is all yours. Those accounts are yours, especially if you're a person that has a similar name to, say, your father or your mother. Make sure that the information and the accounts that are on your credit report are actually yours. You want to do that first. And then if they are not, what are you going to do? You're going to dispute. You're going to dispute the errors on your credit report. And you can do that directly through the credit bureaus. So the three major credit bureaus are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You can go through all three of them by going directly to their websites and disputing if you have anything that's in error in your opinion on your credit report. Now, oftentimes those are not the only things that are in error on your credit report, but they are things that could be in error on your credit report. It's one of the biggest issues that the credit reporting system has is reporting errors on your credit report. So make sure that you go and dispute them. If you dispute them online, the credit bureaus and whoever you're disputing, whatever collection it is, or if it's just a bad account or a if they have that you missed a payment and you never missed a payment from something current that you have, it takes them, or they have a limit of 30 days. So they have 30 days if you dispute them online. They have 30 days to come back to you and say, yes, this is correct or it's incorrect, and we have corrected it, things of that nature. So they have 30 days to do so. So go ahead and dispute those claims online. And all of you guys that listen to the 800 Credit Score Man show regularly, you should know that by now as well. So go back and dispute those errors if you have any errors on your credit report. I have talked to too many people who have things on their credit report that are not theirs, but they know who the other person is because it's a relative, whether the name is right or the same, or because of any kind of crazy situation. Don't pay for things that are not yours. Not only if you decide I want to clear up my credit and restore it, are you paying for those things, like physical money to pay for those things, but you're paying for those things in terms of a negative score and a negative item on your credit report. Don't pay for anything that isn't yours. So if your sister or your uncle or somebody placed something on your credit report, then you need to dispute that and let everybody know. Everybody, not all your family members. Don't put it on Facebook. When I say everybody, I mean TransUnion, Equifax, Experian. Let them all know that those accounts are not yours. Don't pay for something that isn't yours, and make sure that you get those things removed from your credit report. Now, a little bit after this, I'm going to tell you guys, if you have an issue with the credit reporting system or a particular collection agency or a particular account or company, where you can go to dispute those things if the dispute doesn't work for you on your credit report. Second thing you want to do after you've gone ahead and you found out what is yours, what isn't yours on your credit report, then you want to negotiate. You want to negotiate with whoever it is that you owe. If you can't pay the entire amount, then you need to negotiate with them and get them to lower the amount that you actually owe. Now, that's not the only way to negotiate as well. So you may not be negotiating just to have some of the balances reduced. You may be negotiating for time. You may be negotiating for them to remove that negative from your credit report. Let's say you had a late pay, and the late pay was, 12 months ago, and it's still on your credit report, and you think it's negatively affecting you. You may be negotiating to have that removed from your credit report with the person that has that account. So oftentimes what you can do is call them. Of course, when you call them, you got to be contrite and nice and all of those things when you call and talk to them. But you can also write them a letter. So you can write them a letter. If you're going to be paying a balance or something, write them a letter and say, hey, here's what I can do. If you don't feel comfortable talking to them on the phone, here's how much money I can pay. Here's what I would like to pay. If it's a negotiation reducing the balance, I can pay it on this particular date. And then you need to make sure that you meet your obligation and do what you said you were going to do in that particular letter, or if you were talking to them on the phone. So you want to negotiate. Absolutely negotiate. I do not believe in paying somebody that's an old account, something that they're collecting on you for $1,000 if they say you owe them $1,000. Make sure you get something off, put something in your pocket, or keep some money in your pocket because of that. All right. So then what do you want to do? If you want to boost your credit scores, you're doing those two things at first, right? So you're going to dispute any errors. If you get those errors taken off your credit report, it's going to increase your credit score. You want to negotiate. So if you're going to negotiate some of those things, you're also going to be negotiating for erasing the debt. So don't just negotiate, to get to pay $500 on that $1,000 debt and then just let it be. No, you want to have them erase it from your credit report as if it never appeared there as well. So you want to do that. Then, thirdly, here's what you want to do. You want to boost your scores? Check your limits. So when you have your credit card limits, go ahead and check them. Make sure that they're all correct. So you may have a credit card that a couple times over the last couple of years, they have increased your credit limit. They didn't charge you to do it. You didn't ask for it, but they sent you a letter and it says, hey, we've increased your credit limit by $500, $1,000, or what have you. Make sure that that's reflected correctly on your credit report as well, because if it's not, it could be hurting you. Talked a lot about your debt utilization. Your credit limits are what they're looking at when they look at your debt utilization. So you got your limits and your balances, and that's what they're looking for. So make sure that on your credit report that your credit limits are also reporting correctly. All right. So then you want to do that as well, and make sure that each of the credit bureaus are doing that. Doesn't do you any good really if you're going to have TransUnion up to date and Equifax up to date, but then Experian is kind of off and they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. Make sure they're all there together, especially if you're going to be applying for a mortgage. A mortgage company is going to look at all three credit bureaus. This isn't like buying a car. When you go in, you can be able to buy a car, and they may just pull one credit bureau. When you go in to apply for a mortgage, they're going to pull all three. They may take the average of your three. They may take the lower of your three credit scores. But whatever it is, they're going to definitely pull all three to make sure that information is accurate. So you need to make sure that the information is accurate on all three of your credit bureaus as well. So check your limits because it's very important. Now we're talking about credit cards, right? So we're talking about credit cards. We're checking your limits. Number 4, to boost your score, get a credit card. If you do not have a credit card, and I've had this conversation, I want to say at least once a week for the last 6 weeks, get yourself a credit card. If you don't have a credit card, then you're missing out on 30% of what your score could be. So a few weeks ago, I did a show and I talked about the 5 factors that created your credit score, how your credit score is calculated. And one of those factors, of course, is your debt utilization that we just spoke of. Now, when that's the case, if you don't have any credit cards at all, it's as if you missed that assignment. I talked about it in terms of a school teacher and you having 5 assignments and they having different weighting. That's as if you missed an assignment and you missed the second biggest assignment of the entire semester. So you've got to get yourself a credit card. Now, if you follow me on Twitter, which is at @creditscore_man, you know that sometimes I just tweet, know thyself. Again, you got to know yourself. This isn't for you to get yourself in any trouble or to test your discipline if you really don't have any discipline when it comes to credit cards because you've dealt with that in the past. But rest assured, you are missing out on a lot of points on your credit score if you do not have a credit card, at least one credit card. Now, I suggest you get more than one, but at least one credit card. Now, you can get a secured card where you put down money, and then once you put down that money, that becomes your limit, and you can use that card